Now this pulley is off a 70s, late 70s Toro. I think it was off a 1132 snow thrower, which I think the 26-inch also at the time used the same pulley, if I remember correctly. So that's what this is. Of course, two pillow block bearings, custom machined hub, so the flywheel sits on it, and then it has a shaft, so it still allows the pilot bearing and the clutch and everything to mount. Let's think here. So yeah, the only thing that's really had to be machined is basically that hub that allows the flywheel to kind of cup around it like it would on the crankshaft of the other engine, and bolts on with 4 bolts. Just bolts on with 4 bolts with a shoulder in it for just, you know, a little more support. And of course, I might make a drop piece down to here just for the heck of it, in case I ever wanted to put a crank on it. I don't think I would, but you know, you never know. It would just be more design and having to make a one-way piece that kicks a crank out. Time will tell. So you got this pulley here. This one comes out to a jack shaft, which has these on it. And then there's one here. Sorry, I don't have a light right now. And basically small engine is small. I think it's I'm gonna say it's a 5 something, and this, and I wish I could zoom out more. And this pulley, these two are 7, and then I think this one's about a 10. So it steps down to slow the RPMs, but keeping the higher horsepower for the torque. And the idea I have for the belt tensioner, because the engine's going to rotate, let's see, engine rotates this way. So you want the pull side straight. So the idler would have to be on the bottom. And on here, this side, the idler would have to be on the top. So my idea was to have an idler bracket that actually spreads like this off of one point, and it would have a turnbuckle to spread the two apart, but it would also have basically a slotted link. So once you spread them apart, then there'd be like a bolt you tighten to keep the pressure off. So as it's on the machine, it's always constantly kind of adjusting both. A little more complex than just putting one on either. It's just an individual idler here and an individual idler here. But I don't know. I guess I just like doing things differently. But yeah, sorry, the camera on this tablet is absolutely awful. Currently, my phone is soaking in a bowl of rice, so we'll see. And it's like 6 years late, 5-6 years later, and I still can't find my $400 video camera. So anyway, these boxes here, these are already rebuilt. New bearings and seals. New bearings and seals. The transmission, the input bearing was just like blown apart. And what's really bad is the bearing in here that the PTO shaft slips into, which when I got the machine, it didn't have a PTO. It just had the cap. So the fact that that rear bearing was completely destroyed was a little surprising. So anyway, that's all rebuilt. When I bought this PTO, it was said ready to install. Well, there's supposed to be a clip that keeps the bearing in position. Well, the clip was broke. So when I got the thing, there's pieces of the clip and everything all in there, and you could see that every time it was engaged or the gear moved, it was literally grinding further and further into the casting. So I had to clean all them burrs out and metal and everything. The bearings were all chewed to shit. And I finally got that put back together. I got clips. I couldn't find the solid steel ring ones, so I got the spiral ones instead that come out the same gauge. And it just kind of irritated me though, because it was like $300 for the PTO plus having it delivered. And ready to install is definitely not what it was. And then I did do the conversion kit here to convert it over to I believe the Pacer setup or whatever they call it. I have the correct boot for this because this has got the old flat style. So I actually have the leather boot that goes over that. The original engine I sold to a young kid in Grand Rapids, which actually he's probably a young adult now. I didn't feel like rebuilding it. I mean, it had like, it smoked so bad, it's like you take it out of the barn, you come back in, you need to add half a quart of oil. So I do need to at some point pull the final drives off themselves because the outer differential seals are leaking. So I had a lot going on at the time, and I really didn't give a crap. I just wanted to get these done because this thing whined horrible just when driving, and the lower bearings on both sides, the inner ones, were blown apart. The cage was gone. The balls were just it was terrible. I'm really surprised the wheels weren't rocking. But anyway, the upper gears were horribly worn, like the teeth. Instead of being nice and straight, they were all like worn off to a taper. So I got a nice used set, and I put those on. And the bull gears can be flipped either way. So what I did, because I had a heck of a wear to them, I took the bull gears and I actually flipped them to where the reverse side is run forward. So now, since the upper gears are good now, they're probably like 95% versus my 30-some% that I had left. And the back and the lower bull gears, which still had wear, but they're, I don't know, like still 90%, which ain't bad. It's far more quiet going forward. The only time it gets a little noisy is in reverse, but that's because the gears don't quite mesh as nice. I've got the gears basically flipped to where it's running on a side that's hardly used. So anyway, I really need to get this thing done. It's been sitting here for years. It keeps getting dragged around and still not done. And I've used it here and there, and I got tired of choking on the oil, so I just kind of gave up on it. But I got to get this thing done and moved. I don't know if I'll end up selling it afterwards or just put the deck on it and keep it. I really don't know. I got so much other stuff going on. Who knows? Getting most of the stuff we need for the backhoe. Got a lot of other things going on currently. You see this pathway going through here, cleaning everything. Those are all boxes because we're putting stuff in them to get rid of. So every time we go to the store, we get boxes. Plywood for the floor of the house. That's our new sink. That's our new refrigerator. We got to put the switch in and strip it and repaint it and rewire it, and that'll be going in the kitchen. Brakes are on order. We got the clutch coming. We got seals coming for this. I got to order a water pump and a couple other things. I got the one side done here, converting it over, but I need to convert the other side still because I forget what model this came off of, but I had to take it off to get down to the brake. On there. Too many oil leaks drive me crazy, so I figured screw it, let's just put all new oil seals in the transmission. When the clutch goes in, new seals, just everywhere, new seals, new water pump, anything that could leak or that does leak.